Okay, welcome. I am doing today a pour over a terracotta pot. Yesterday I did one and it was with greens on it, and it was the first one I did. Came out like this. I used an iridescent paint, which you can't really see in this light. I only put iridescent medium into the viridian, which is the dark green here. Not sure if it's going to show up, but you can see here it's got a lovely shimmer to it, which actually looks quite gorgeous. It's still slightly damp, but it's just a little tiny bit tacky. I wasn't really happy because I didn't get any cell structure. I do like the effect, but I don't like that I didn't get any cells in it. It still looks quite pretty though. So today what I want to do is do a slightly thicker pour. So I've mixed up the paint thicker than I had it yesterday. Just have to put this back. And I'm hoping to get an outcome that I like better. So these are the colours that I'm using. I've got purple here, which I've added a dash of white to make it slightly lighter. So the purple that I've used, well, it's just plain purple. As you can see, it's really dark. So I added a dash of white to it to lighten it up a little bit. This one, believe it or not, is sapphire blue, but I felt that it was slightly light and I went overboard adding black to it because I added it before I mixed it all up, and I wasn't thinking I was actually going to add more black to it, and thankfully stopped myself at the last second, otherwise I would have ended up with straight black. I added a dash of white to that as well, and that lightened it slightly, but I've almost got grey. I really like the colour all the same, but I've made that mistake once before. I haven't added any silicone to these yet, so I will add that in a second. I'll just put that there so I don't forget. I've got a mid-yellow, and I've got Monastral Cerulean. These are all Montmartre Dimension colours. I like the texture of them. They're all heavy body paints, and I really like being able to add or choose how thick I want the paints, and for this particular project that's going to handle really well. Actually, the yellow is just a studio acrylic paint. It's not quite as thick as the others, but it's still pretty thick. I've added PVA to all of them. It's an acid-free glue, this particular one. Don't know if that makes a huge difference, but I figure that helps. Every little bit helps. And I've also added to all of them this particular iridescent medium, which is Reeves. If you're in Australia, I don't know if it's available anywhere else, but I happened to pick it up from Officeworks. Memory serves me, it was around about $13. Can't remember off the top of my head because I picked up half a dozen other things while I was there as well. But it is really cool, and that's the one that was in the green on the other one, in the viridian on the other pot as well. It doesn't work in all the colours. It certainly shows up far better in these two darker colours. Can't tell that it's in that one at all. You can see it in the yellow to an extent, but it's not very clear at all. So it is something that works much better in the darker colours than the lighter colours, but it's really good, and it's a really thick texture. So if you are using runnier paints, add it at the very beginning obviously, and mix it all in before you start adding else. I've also added Floetrol to everything. I haven't used any water. I haven't used anything else other than Floetrol, PVA glue, and the medium here, the iridescent. So as you can see, it's really thick. It's like toothpaste, thicker even than a lot of toothpastes. So that's all I've added and mixed them together, and yeah, I've made it quite a bit thicker than I normally make it. So I just need to add some silicone. I just use standard silicone spray, not particular about what brand it is. I don't think it really matters. I do have WD-40 hanging around, but for whatever reason I decided not to use that. So I'm mix this through, and then I can pour it into my cups. So I'll do a dirty pour. Never really understood why it's called a dirty pour because I'm using clean cups, but dirty pour because all the paints get mixed in the one cup together. Making it lovely. I use biodegradable cups here, pots. They are compostable, which is really cool. I found a company in Sydney that makes them, and they're called, what are they called? I can't even remember. I bought heaps. They're called Vegware. They make them out of vegetables. They make cardboardy type things as well, but the plastic ones are really handy. These are just leftover recyclable ones that I found at the supermarket here, the bigger cups, because they're a bigger size than the ones I ordered from Vegware, because I thought I'm only going to need little ones. Not so. I have a massive canvas down the other end of the house that I'm wanting to use. I'm going to need to order some big cups or containers from Vegware at some point to do that, or else just pick up a couple of really big ones to do my big canvas on. So let's mix these and get started. But I like the idea of using the biodegradable ones because I do use a lot because I'm a bit too lazy to wash them out every time. And I've got a plastic sheet down which I reuse as many times as possible, but you should have seen the mess of the one that I had on here until this morning, which I took off before starting this today. I don't have a particular order that I want these going on. I'll probably play with it a little bit, and they should, being quite thick, sit on top of each other happily enough. Which is pretty much what I want them to do. With the pot today, I don't think I want to do the pour all the way along like I did yesterday. I think I want to try and start it from part way down this time, and I wanted to use darker colours. I've still got a couple of lumps in there. I had to add some of the what's it called, iridescent medium afterwards because I made it too thin, which is a bit silly. And I needed to thicken it up a little bit. And I might need 2 cups. Yesterday I needed to, I poured the first cup on too fast. Yeah, I'll put a bit of yellow. Love this yellow. It's nice and bright. Yellow. Me. Sometimes. I mixed everything up prior. If you are interested in actually watching the mixing of the paint process, let me know and I can do that on a future video. And hopefully the video won't cut out halfway through. I'm doing this on my mobile, but I have turned off all my mobile data and put it into flight mode because every time I get a message it tends to switch off, which is really handy. So I'm trying something new this time because it keeps cutting out at crucial points, which is really frustrating. As you can imagine, last time it cut off halfway through doing a tilt and actually sorting out I just poured it and I was prettying up my canvas and lost all the exciting part. All the boring stuff got recorded and the fun stuff didn't. So I gave up and didn't bother posting it. I don't want that one, I want this one. because I'm not actually flipping it, I will stir this just slightly before I pour it. Actually, what I might do is just use all of it in this cup and see how I go with pouring it on. And see if I can get all the way around the pot this time. When I first started this, I started out using gloves and all sorts of things, and I was all precious about getting paint all over me, but then I've since decided, you know what, paint is paint and it's fun, and if I'm going to put it all over everything, I'll get it all over me as well. So it gets all through my arts mocky thing and everywhere, and the only concession I've made is to put a hair tie over my bracelets so that I don't get my bracelets dangling into all the art, because that is frustrating. I have ruined a couple of pieces doing that. And now I've got the local cat meowing at my door because she wants to come in. There's a couple of cats around here that, well, actually we get about 7 cats through our yard. But this particular one was owned by a previous owner of this house, and they just moved away and left her here, and she's absolutely gorgeous. But we have a major cat allergy in my youngest child, and so we can't take ownership of her, but we do feed her. And so she always wants to come in the house. But this used to be her house a few years back. So she hangs around and she just wants to come in. So she sits and yowls, but there's another cat that has a deeper meow, and it yowls and yowls. Last night it was around, hanging around, yowling like mad. Thankfully they don't harass our rabbits when they're outside. Alright, let's use the rest of this. Chunk of it here. I like these colours. Almost makes me want to put it on a canvas. I've got one the right size. Like layering it like this, and I'm hoping that it'll give me a good effect at the end. I do a lot of my pours layered like this just because I like getting a lot of different colours through all the way around. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And the last one does, however, mean that it takes longer to do the setup. Alright, now with these pots I have found last night that I just about ripped a finger off because I was holding on to the thing by the hole in the middle, which I'll show you in a second. So here we have the cup, which I hope you've been able to see that process. You should have been able to. So we have a hole in the middle, and I was holding it like that and pouring it around like that, and nearly ripped my finger off because it's quite a sharp edge there. What I then found was having to put it down on something that was taller than it, and I hadn't measured anything. I found that my paper towels are the perfect height. This time I've actually taken some paper towels off so that I can wipe my hands on it. But I'm going to sit it on here first and just pour it around as I go. And then I'll take the camera down and show you the different sides. This keeps it about almost a finger's width off, almost, a few millimeters anyway, all the way around, so that it will give it some space to drip. Now, I don't mind having an uneven edge on it all the way around. You can tape it if you want, you can, whatever, however you want it to finish. You could even sticky tape some patterns around it if you wanted it to just tape over it, whatever. I picked these up from the local hardware shop. You can get it from a nursery, from wherever you want. It's just a plain terracotta pot. It's about, I think it's 22 or 25 centimeters tall. I've dusted it off to get the extra dust off. I haven't sealed it. Probably a bad move. I haven't done anything to it. So I don't know how the paint's going to stick onto it. That's going to be the test of time. I'm just playing with these at the moment. So I'll give this a little stir. In, ding, ding, ding. That looks pretty. Actually, that looks really pretty. And you can see there's actually already cells forming on there. And I can't refocus it. Sorry. There's actually, yeah, it's already cells forming on there, and that looks gorgeous. That's cool. Like that. All right, so what I want to do is just pour it on and see how it goes. And of course, because I can't measure things, I haven't ended up doing it at an even height all the way around, have I? Actually, it hasn't been too bad. Ho hum. Oh. See if I can get a little bit more to pour out here. It hasn't gone all the way down on this side, but it's gone most of the way down everywhere else. And a bit more here. The cup looks really cool, actually. I love that overflow there too. I might go and get some paper after this and put some onto a piece of paper. I experimented last night also with putting it onto, just putting a piece of gloss print paper on it and using some high gloss print paper, and that worked quite well. Cup looks awesome. So firing it just to see if I can get it to create some cells. It is moving much slower than it did yesterday, so I'm hoping that means that some of these cells will stay on here. That will just be the test of time. What I hoped yesterday was that the terracotta would be absorbent enough to hold on to the cells, but it didn't seem to be with the thin paint. So what I'm really hoping now is that with the thicker paint it will work, and it looks like it is. So I'm really happy with this. I'll still have some stretched out cells, but it's going to give me cells that will stay, I think, I hope. And if I heat it enough, but not too much, I might even be able to get it to set the cells and keep the cells. Maybe I need to get my big, where did I put it? There it is. Hang on. Pulling the gear, big guns. Yesterday I went and bought a, yeah, unusual. Whoop. Okay. Yesterday I did that. Went and bought this thing. It's not ideal. Yep, we don't want this one. I need to go and find another one. Because I think I'm going to end up setting fire to the whole house using this one. Because it's clearly a bit more intense than what I want. Can you tell? Lesson, don't use the tradie one, go try and find a creme brulee one. However, it is giving me some pretty awesome cells because it's so intense. I just don't need to burn the house down. Funny thing was, I did joke with the guy about burning the house down. It says it's got a 15-second afterburn. Well, yeah, it does. Alright, let's see. I don't think I'm going to get anything else out of this. Wow. Yeah, don't like that thing. It's scary. Let's see. Let's see. So, what we've got here, so you can see the cells are sort of held on a little bit better than what they did on, on the other one. On the other one, sorry. So we've got that all the way around, and that actually looks really good. I'm happy with that. Sorry about the focus. Then around this side. It hasn't done quite so well here, although there is a nice patch of cells just there. I'm quite happy with. I might give it another little bit of a heat once I turn the camera off to save burning the camera down and the tripod. But anyway, so there we have it. My second attempt at a pour on a terracotta pot. Thanks for watching, and there'll be links through to Instagram and yeah, hope you enjoyed it.